Recording in
Welcome to the I Hate Critics movie review podcast. I'm professional film critic Sean Patrick. With me is Jeff.
Oh, hi. I totally forgot I was here.
When did you get here?
Like 20 minutes ago.
My God.
I know,
Where
right?
people get your art.
JeffLaster.com is my website. I encourage you to follow me. I'm going to be the Rachel Maddow of the show and push Blue Sky every time I talk. JeffLassiter.bluesky, BSKY.social is my handle there. I bitch a lot about shit and post my art. They also just dropped flashes, their Instagram. So all you can follow me there too, and all of that art will automatically port over if you don't want to listen to me bitch about the state of the world and my non-existent love life.
All right. And of course, at Podcast Sean on Twitter. And I stay on that because I just like saying Twitter. And I know it makes them mad. And also, I hate critics on Blue Sky, where you can first find all my reviews as well as the podcast on there. We're posting that every week on Blue Sky because it's the best.
I really do like Blue Sky.
I'm a big fan. Mostly because you can just block Republicans so easily on it.
Well, so I have two jobs. One is retail and one is for a nonprofit. And for the nonprofit, I have to have Meta. I have to have Facebook and Instagram so that I don't tend to post. And I dropped something on Threads the other day. I dropped a link to my artwork for somebody who was looking for links to LGBT creators, and I'm unable to post my link now on Threads or Instagram because it's considered spam. I also asked a guy if on Instagram, and I'm not sure if it was this or if it was dropping my link on posts, but I did ask a guy if his parents were conjoined twins because he said something really offensive and stupid. And that's when as soon as I hit send on that, that's when I got the notice from Instagram that my account was suspended and it was going to be deleted unless I responded and did an appeal, and I did an appeal, and 4 minutes later, oops, we made a mistake. That was such a waste of their AI. I mean, it really just was so stupid. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still do have to have those, so you can find me there too. But
I was on Twitter the other night, and I kept getting an ad for CPAC, and I kept marking it as spam, and it would just keep coming back, no matter how many times I marked it as spam.
That happens to me on Facebook quite a bit. I blocked Matt. Well, I on Android you can block. On Safari or the app on the iPad, you can hide all posts from them. But either way, I've seen more bullshit from Matt Walsh in the last 48 hours against my will. And everybody's like, oh, it's because you interact with them. No, I literally go and I hide them. But on my normal feed, it's literally just all these right-wing pages.
For some Twitter the other night tried to tell me that I was following Kanye West. I'm like, nope, that never happened. I don't think so.
Well, Instagram was making everybody follow the administration the day after the inauguration. They literally were just going in and adding followers. I guess it's to make the ego, feel like, ooh, I'm so popular. But I blocked all that before they could make me follow it. So hopefully I have not followed that yet, but we'll see, because Zuck is a cuck.
Check your following lists, Jeff, everybody, because you may have been assigned as a follower to somebody that you don't want to be following. Like, that's weird. Why am I seeing this ad? No, wait, I'm following this person. What? No, I'm not.
I mean, if their goal is to make these things that worse than you can possibly imagine, they're doing a bang up job.
Oh, tremendous. And it's a great way to run a business too, is just to get rid of your customers, just cause the customers to not want to be there. It's a great way of doing business.
Because I'm telling you, I literally, if I did not have to have these to sign into a bunch of stuff for my second job, I would delete them and just go with Blue Sky and Flashes.
Twitter's not publicly traded, right? They can't be, because I mean, watching what he runs that company, there's no possible way that investors would be okay with that.
I came across I had to sign into my Twitter because I was trying to delete it, and I finally figured out how. So I signed in on a browser to delete it because I couldn't do it through the app. And the very first thing was talking about how if all these little small towns with all these people who depend on Medicaid just to live or Medicare just to live. One guy said, well, you know what? Maybe it's time to let those people die.
Mm.
That's compassionate conservatism, right? Yeah, maybe it's time for these older. Oh, yeah.
It's all those things like the things you thought you'd never have to tell people. You know, like I didn't think I had to tell you to value the lives of other people. Like I didn't think that was something I needed to explain to other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I kind of got that from, I don't know, kindergarten.
Right?
That the other people in the room were also valuable.
You know what? I value the lives of people I dislike intensely because they're human beings. I don't want anybody to suffer, save for like maybe 2 or 3 people in the entire world that I've dated. I'm just kidding. I didn't date you know who. I now I understand Voldemort. Now I understand not saying the name. Why we do that? Anyway, I don't understand. I don't know how I can teach people how to just have basic human empathy. I just kind of feel like they don't want to. So
yeah. I also think I've come to believe that the term NPC was created just solely to divide us all. I think it is honestly a conspiracy to just make everybody center themselves within their own lives and no one else is important.
I say this on an internet radio show, but the best thing that ever happened and the worst thing that ever happened are the internet.
So true.
I take that back. The best thing that ever happened was the internet. The worst thing that ever happened was letting people talk on it. And I'm sure there are people listening now that are like, yeah, you're right. Shut the fuck up. But here we are.
Why are you listening to this? You haven't learned by now.
I mean, I figure, by now.
If you haven't figured it out by now, I don't know how you got here.
I have told a couple of my coworkers. I have told a couple of my coworkers and people that I know about the show, and I put it on my link tree. So I'm sure there are some people who are like, "Oh, I like this guy's art. Oh, what the fuck, dude? Why are you such a fag or whatever?" If you didn't get it from buying my Serial Mom print and my Maxine sticker, I don't know where your disconnect was.
I don't know what this says about me. I can't even imagine someone mistaking you for straight. How insulting is it when that happens?
Thank you. It happens a lot because when I go out, I look like all the mega chuds. I have a shaved head and a beard. I don't wear wraparound sunglasses though, so there's that. And I don't make videos in my car or my truck, so there's that. But I was once told, like when I used to live in Des Moines, Iowa, and I would say, God, why don't they approach me? And one of my friends was like, well, you know what resting bitch face is right now, right? And I said, yeah. Well, you don't have that. I'm like, well, I didn't think so. No, you have resting serial killer face. And I was like, oh.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can see it. In retrospect, I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. It is really. Yeah.
No, I will say, yes, you don't do much to conceal your contempt for most of the rest of society.
I don't have contempt for most of the rest of society. just some.
You may not want harm to come to them, but you do have like there is that. The contempt, I
So
think, is a nice line to draw.
you remember when we talked about Aaron Brockovich a couple
Yeah.
and there's the one character who tells her, "Look, Aaron, if you can't do your job, I don't know what to tell you. Or if you don't know how to do your job, I don't know." Anne Marie, I think, is her name in
Yeah.
in the movie, and she just kind of like puts her hand on her or her chin on her hand and kind of gives her that look. That's how I feel I come off in public, like, girl, or I don't know,
Which
but
I think it's fair. I think it's a fair post. I had the other day. I'm so like docile apparently in public. I had a person who I considered a friend. I consider a friend walk up to me and say, Why do you look homeless?" The
Are
fuck?
you letting your hair grow out again?
I've got super long hair. Yeah, I've got a great head of hair. I'm pretty proud of it. Like I don't know who says that. Like we're
Well,
friends, but we're not that close, dude. Like that you can just walk up and insult me.
so you are going for the dude look as of the last time I saw you.
Yeah, like yeah. I
So,
mean, I look like the logo that you made for me. Yeah,
but why aren't people just saying you look like the dude instead of that mean shit?
I don't know. I don't get it. I was really dressed nice too. I have a really nice new coat that a friend of mine bought me for Christmas, and I had I had a brand new sweater on. But apparently, like long hair on a man is just like, oh, you must be homeless.
You should blow it. You should get a blowout like once a week.
Go full Barry Gibb.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Part it down the middle, feather it back.
I could do that. I could pull that off. That may be
You
Halloween
totally
for me.
should.
I could pull that off.
You should go as one of the BGs.
Totally could. Yeah, no, I take great care of my hair. It looks gorgeous. So I don't know where people would. Um, Speaking of gorgeous, the Academy Awards are beautiful. They're a beautiful award. Not everybody who attends is beautiful, but certainly the awards themselves are pretty. We're just going
Yes.
to do one final pass here on the big categories. I'm going to ask you to choose who you think is going to win. Don't bet on who you want to win. Who do you think will win? And we will start with Best Actress in a Supporting Role. We've got Monica Barbaro for Complete Unknown, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez.
Who I think is going to win, based on the fact that she's been around forever, is Isabella Rossellini.
Interesting. I've got Ariana Grande in that one.
She's who I would like to win. Her or Zoe Saldana. Either one.
I think she's got solid momentum on her side. That said, I mean, you do have a point. Rossellini has been around for years, and they often do the Gold Watch Academy Award. So there is that.
Yeah.
There is
my other choice for who is possibly going to win because of acting would be Felicity Jones for The Brutalist.
That if she wins, that's an indication that The Brutalist is taking home like every award. If she does, that's just a fact. You'll see that in the first minute of the show, and then you'll hear nothing but The Brutalist the rest of the show. Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Yura Borisov for Nora, Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Edward Norton, A Complete Unknown, Guy Pearce, The Brutalist, and Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. There's really no competition here, is there?
I mean, I'm fairly certain it's going to be Guy Pearce.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Okay. I thought for a second you were serious. Like he's like Kieran Culkin has won every award.
I know. I'm just kidding. No, I think it will absolutely be Kieran Culkin. Out of those, he is probably my favorite. I did like Jeremy Strong's performance in The Apprentice, but I think with the current climate, I can't see that.
He certainly did capture like the soullessness of that character.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
what do you think Trump would say? What would he the division of his mind between like, oh, they gave me an Academy Award, Sebastian
Oh,
Stan won. But
it's an
between that and
Academy
the way he's
Award for
portrayed,
me.
yeah,
It's
like,
an Academy Award for me because everybody loves me so much, and I am the greatest president. Everybody loves me.
oh God,
He
please don't
obviously
let
has
that.
not seen it. You know what? Everyone's like, oh, he didn't see it. I'm like, he watched this in his bathrobe, in his bed, for or three straight, two or three times straight, just
while
to
getting
pick
it
it apart.
while getting his scalp resewn.
Yes.
The scene in the movie for people who haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Karen Goggin's gonna win that. Best actress in a leading role: Cynthia Erivo in Wicked, Carla Sofia Gascon for Amelia Perez, Mikey Madison for Enora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here.
Demi Moore for The Substance.
I agree. I think Demi's got that older Academy on her side as well. Not to say that this is her gold watch because I do think it's the best performance of the year. But certainly she does have that on her side going for her. It's like that. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that thing that Eddie Murphy. You remember Eddie Murphy in that movie, The Distinguished Gentleman? He just changed his name to be the same as the guy who was the previous candidate, and that's how he
Yeah.
won. Like a lot of the older voters just go in there. Oh, that's a name I recognize. Click.
Yeah. Mikey Madison. Why is there a guy in this category? I hate all this DEI bullshit. No, I think this is the hardest category
Mm-hmm.
because there are three solid winners, and that is Cynthia Erivo, Mikey Madison, and Demi Moore. Demi Moore is going to win because of the fact that The Substance is one of the best movies of the year, and it is one of her top two, three performances ever.
You could
And I
make
am
it better.
including Parasite.
It's like this is way better.
No, I'm including Parasite from 1979. No, I mean, she did, she did really good work and like A Few Good Men.
Mhm.
Say what you will about like the movies, but like G.I. Jane, she was really, really good in it. I recently rewatched it just because I'm like, I don't think I ever saw that. Then I watched it, like, I think I saw part of it, but she was really good in it. The movie is, a little heavy handed, but no, I think she's going to win. If I had to, I Cynthia Erivo is going to be nominated again next year for Wicked, for Good. Um, and Mikey Madison would be my second choice of who is going to win. I think Carla Sofia Gascon has burned all her Hollywood bridges. Um, and Fernanda Torres, I think because it's a foreign language movie, it doesn't have um, the legs that something like The Substance, which is super relatable to people in Hollywood.
Mhm.
Um,
See, I'm much more cynical than you are about this stuff. My cynicism leads me to believe that Carla Sofia Gascon has a great chance of winning because they gave it so many goddamn nominations.
uh,
I think there was plenty of time to usher people away from her, but I still think that's I wouldn't be blown away by that. Like it wouldn't surprise me. I also think that Fernanda Torres has actually been building up a great deal of momentum just in the last couple of weeks, really getting out there and campaigning and talking to people. So she's got a good chance as well. I think the one who actually has no chance of winning is Cynthia Erivo. I think she's out
yeah.
for. Um, Now with the Nora having picked up so many awards and Mikey Madison having picked up the last couple of big awards at the Critics' Choice Awards and SAG, I think that does push her, right up neck and neck with Demi. I think those things do matter in the end, especially SAG. I think has a big influence here, but I still say Demi's going to win just based on that older audience. Again, I think it's the best performance of the year. I just think that people who are so old, the Academy is so old that they see that name they recognize, and that's the one they go.
Yeah.
Which leads us to Best Actor, where they're going to do that again. Um, Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, Timothy Chalamet for A Complete Unknown, Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing, Rafe Fiennes for Conclave, and Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. Adrian Brody, I think, is going to win because he's won before and they know his name.
Yeah. Yep. Well, how many of these people have won before? Okay, so Adrian Brody has won. Coleman Domingo won.
He didn't win an Oscar yet.
No. Oh, he didn't. I thought he won. No, he was just nominated.
He was nominated for for one of the movies that he did, but no, he's never won. Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was last year. This is this.
I thought it was the movie he did with Viola Davis.
I thought he was nominated last year for Rustin. Hold on, I'm gonna have to look this up now because it's gonna. I don't remember the Oscars as soon as they're over. Like the week.
They're not worth keeping. Yeah.
Yeah, like we talk about them and then I forget about them unless it's something egregious like Crash beating Brokeback Mountain. That we still talk about that today because it's we're talking about.
I think Adrian Brody's the only one who's actually won an Academy Award before. I know Ralph Fiennes, I think he was nominated for The English Patient. I don't think he won for that. He was nominated. He did win Best Supporting Actor maybe he did win Best Supporting Actor for Schindler's List, I think. If I'm recalling that correctly.
That's what I thought.
But he was a supporting actor, not Best Actor. A bit of a difference. There is some buzz for Timothée Chalamet, like as a rising star. I do think that, and he's gotten a couple of notices recently, and Adrian Brody's buzz has kind of died down a little bit. I also do wonder about The Brutalist, whether or not the 75-year-old Academy members are making it through a 3-hour movie, 3.5-hour movie. But they're also highly pretentious on top of being very old. So
yeah,
that does speak in the movie's favor.
Yes, Coleman Domingo was nominated for Rustin, but he did not win. I thought for some reason, thought he won.
All right, so yeah, you got Adrian Brody?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And of course, Best Picture, Anora, The Brutalist, Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, and Wicked. I think Anora has a really good chance to win this, but what do you think?
I think it's going to be The Brutalist because, like you just said, the Academy is very pretentious, and this is a 3.5-hour movie that they probably didn't even finish, but it was just like, oh, it's the most wonderful movie I've ever seen because it's about, becoming an American and how to become a success story in America, whatever. That's what I think will win. As far as, I think I think there's an outside chance that either The Substance or Anora could win.
I don't see The Substance winning. I don't see this old crowd being able to sit through that movie.
You think they're going to sit through? They're not going to sit through The Brutalist either. So,
yeah, but they'll be angry about The Substance.
Yeah.
So I don't think, and especially I think The Substance the only chance The Substance really had of winning Best Picture ended when Margaret Qualley didn't get nominated for Best Supporting Actress. Once that happened, I knew the chance of that movie winning was pretty much over. And especially when they nominated Felicity Jones, who I like her, didn't deserve a nomination. That was not a nominated performance for me.
No, it really wasn't.
Especially over Margaret Qualley. There's just no way that should have gone that way. I think it indicates that The Brutalist has it certainly over The Substance. In terms of just, the appeal to the Academy. Again, The Substance was the best movie released last year, even if I never watched it again in my life. But no, I think Anora got great buzz coming out of Critic Choice and coming off of SAG. I think it's sailing right now, and there's a really good chance for it. But Conclave does have that old person appeal, and that one is actually the one I'm really worried about sneaking in there and snaking a Best Picture. Yeah,
I was talking about Conclave the other day because one of my coworkers has just started to watch the Best Picture nominees, and she was like, Conclave, I just thought it was so brilliant how they ended it that way. I'm like, no, it was like, no. No, it was that week was like the worst week for endings ever between
Oh
that and my
God, yeah.
monster. Um, yeah, I can see what you're talking about. I think the brutalist is going to win. Um, I also because it surprised me with so many nominations because I just didn't connect with it at all. A complete unknown. I could see those old, Academy voters who, love Bob Dylan doing that.
Now that the baby boomers kind of out almost outnumber the greatest generation in the Academy, it's still neck and neck, I think. Um, no, I'm kidding. But like, no, I think the boomers do love a complete unknown, and that definitely is right up their alley for a best picture pick. I do see that as a possibility, but I think some of them might be shamed enough to vote for Honora just because just because the younger Academy is going to be pushing for it.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I'm
Uh,
I'm happy with our choices. I think we're gonna.
yeah, I think we're going to be right.
I think you're
Or
right.
at least I'm going to be right about best supporting actress, and then the rest of us that we agreed on will be.
Yes, yes, clearly.
All right. Let's see. Let's talk about new movies. Let's talk about The Monkey. The Monkey, a horror comedy from Osgood Perkins, the director of Long Legs, based off of a short story by Stephen King. Which I've got to ask first before we jump into the whole thing. You read a lot of Stephen King. Have you read this short story?
I read this 40 years ago. I don't remember anything about it except that it was a monkey with the cymbals
Yeah.
instead of the drums, but they had to change that for the movie because of Toy Story. So
Oh yeah, the symbol monkey. Ah, they used that as a villain in Toy Story too.
yeah, that's why. So Toy Story, Disney bought the image rights to that, so that when they were doing this, they were like, nope, sorry, can't use it because we own the image rights to that toy. And so they switched it to drums. And I guess apparently there was still some, hey, that's our, no, this is a drumming monkey. It's a completely different thing.
Completely different thing. The film stars Theo James in two roles, twin brothers Hal and Bill Shelburne. We meet them as kids. Their dad has not come home. Their dad. We see him in a scene to start the movie. Adam Scott has a pilot who tries to destroy the monkey and fails and gets other people killed. And that's really just the opening sequence of this movie is just such a wonderful setup for the rest of the just gratuitous violence that is
Oh,
coming, and hilarious violence at that. The This movie, in terms of plot, like I'm not sure if there really is one or if there's even a necessity for one. It's really just giving you like a setup to be afraid of what this monkey is capable of, and then just kind of setting up scenarios where the monkey can do something, cause something to happen that is just completely horrific. And I'm okay with that. I do think there are deeper elements to this movie. I do think that there is something more to be said about, especially the familial relationships and about just what this monkey is all about. But even if it's just a series of gore scenes, it's so good and so skillfully made. I had such a great time watching this movie. The I guess the one that really got me, like the one that just dropped my jaw, was not even one that like was like super immediately gory. It was the restaurant sequence. The babysitter getting her throat cut or getting her
yeah.
head cut off just kind of floored me. I thought I was waiting for this kind of geyser of blood situation. Instead, we get just this head slowly sliding off of a body. Wild, wild stuff.
So this is so far my favorite movie of the year.
Wow. Okay. All
I
right.
had such a good time. Like I've talked about this before. I get tired after work, but I still go see movies usually on Friday afternoon. So I was a little tired, but I within the first 10 minutes of this movie, I was like, let's go, let's watch more. Um, I it, the gore was reminiscent of like early Peter Jackson movies, where it's just it's so over the top that you can't be really grossed out by it. You can kind of be like squished, but it's so funny that you don't have time to be like, oh my God, what are they doing? Um, the cast, my God, the fucking cast of this movie is so good. Kristen Convery as young Hal, and I can't even remember the brother's name. Um,
Alan
he's
Bill.
just, yeah, he's just so good as both of them, and like to the point where I was like, wait, are they fraternal twins? Or are they identical twins? Because he plays them so differently, and like
Right.
one slouches, the other stands. It's just he embodies both of them. Um, Petey, the son, he was really good. Colin O'Brien, uh, Tatiana Maslany, I loved her in Orphan Black. I don't know if you saw that show,
Oh yeah.
um,
Mhm.
but I knew she could embody a bunch of different people because she does it so well in that show and on She-Hulk. Um, she was so funny in this movie when she's sitting around talking about how everybody dies. And then you realize that that's kind of the manifesto for this entire movie, where just about everybody's going to die. Um, I, like you said, the scene in the restaurant with Annie Wilkes, which I thought was funny. Um, that was the babysitter's name, was Annie Wilkes, and I was like, "Oh, are we going to name all the
Brilliant.
characters after different Stephen King?" Because God, if they ran into Dolores Claiborne, that would be funny too. Um, that scene where she's eye fucking the chef and he's eye fucking her back, and he throws the knife, and oh shit, that never happened at Benihana. Um, Oz Perkins as Uncle Chip, who it took me a second to
Mhm.
recognize him. I was like, oh, this is a perfect Alfred Hitchcock moment. Um, just it's Rowan Campbell, who I hated his character in Halloween Ends, but he was so funny here because he's just so stupid. I can't, like, the whole movie. I was smiling from ear to ear. The only quibble I have with it is I thought there should have been an after credit scene of Elijah Wood's character getting it.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of felt that too.
That's the only thing that was missing, was Ted getting, like, some weird accident, like where he, instead of drinking his pre-workout, he drinks acid or something. I don't know. It would have been really bad. Like, that would have been like the cherry on top. But
Mhm.
this movie is so funny and so smart, and the performances are so great. I'm Since we have like no movies next week, I'm kind of thinking I might just go see this again. Um, and me, because since we started doing the show, I don't go to the movies to see stuff more than once usually, with the exception of stuff like Maxine. Um, but I might actually go see this again next week because that's that good.
The great thing is, like, I think a really talented horror director can make anything scary. And,
Yeah.
this monkey, it kind of like, it's kind of a creepy looking monkey, but
Hmm.
just the way that they use it, and just the context, using the camera to create the context for why you're afraid of it and why you're afraid
Hmm.
of what it can do. He did such a great job of just layering that in early on with that opening scene. And then, when the brothers start to turn the key for the first time, and then establishing its own rules as they went, like, you don't get to choose. If once you turn
Yeah.
that key, you choose who dies. It just kind of, the thing's going to do it itself, whoever it is. It doesn't matter to it. I thought that was a really great piece of invention.
Hmm.
That ending with just everybody dying was just so great. The shotgun blast, my God, that's one of the best shotgun blast deaths in the movie. Just so amazing. Even if and that was in the trailer. I don't, and I didn't, it didn't even bother me that that was in the trailer, because, like, it still
Yeah.
was amazing to watch in the movie,
Oh,
and so much more just disgusting.
the scene with the stripper where she bends
Oh God.
over in his face and it's the monkey. I saw in the trailer. I thought it was funny then. I laughed out loud in the theater. Or when Aunt Ida gets her head catches on fire,
Wow.
and,
Yeah.
and she's
That was
running,
good.
and then, like, after the next day when he goes through the house, you see the smoke char on the ceiling, and they don't really bring your attention to it. You just see it. I laughed
Yeah.
again out loud because I was like, that's too fucking funny.
Oh no, they left the charred wood on the real estate sign
Yes.
outside. Damn it. That scene just would not end.
Oh,
It's
and
so good.
I like um Sarah Levy. She
Hmm.
was from Schitt's Creek, and I was like, "Oh, is that Sarah Levy?" Yes, yes, it is. And yeah, she was funny, and just the way she gets it's just so over the top. I told a coworker, I said it reminds me of Dead Alive, that kind of stuff from Peter Jackson from the early 80s. That's how like over the top and comedy, but really gross comedy.
It's just piling absurdity upon absurdity upon absurdity because some of these deaths do matter, and like the kids do, like when Tatiana Maslany dies, and yeah, that does matter. It impacts both of her kids really deeply. How that
Yeah.
happens to her. So he does care. It's not. It is not without meaning some of these deaths, but at the other times it's just about just piling one absurd thing on top of another to just kind of demystify death, essentially, to just kind of like, hey, death's coming, whether it could be from a monkey or it could be just
Yeah.
random bullshit.
Well, and
But
what makes the horror and makes the comedy work so well is there are little pieces of pathos in there.
mhm.
Like when Todd's like, I'm not gonna take the suit off. I'm never taking the suit off again, because if I take the suit off, I'm just gonna have to put it on again because somebody's gonna die. And I was like, oh, that's really sad.
Yeah, that was just really really solid.
And he's still wearing
Especially
it
starting with
25 years
with
later.
those two little boys was just, yeah, that was tremendous, the way they built that. And like I said, and it's all just about building the absurdity of it. Like there's a death involving a bunch of was it wasps or angry
Yeah.
bugs
Yeah.
coming
Yeah. Hornets.
hornets. That was completely absurd, but the way they set it up, the way they started it, and then just built and let it breathe, and then it happens, and it's just, oh my god, how the fuck did you do that? Just so good. There's so many, like, he's just incredibly talented. Osgood Perkins. I could say nothing but nice things about him for a while because I loved Longlegs. I thought Longlegs was super creepy and incredibly memorable.
Yeah. Yeah. I explained to a friend of mine how that is Long Legs is more straight horror than this, but it also has some what the fuck laugh out loud moments in it.
Mhm.
And this just kind of takes that and flips it on its head and turns it up to 12. So
Yeah, he's definitely got a knack for creating the comedy of discomfort, the comedy
yeah,
of making you cringe, but also at the same, like, you almost feel bad for laughing, but you're supposed to
yeah,
laugh.
yeah.
That is a difficult needle to thread, and he pulls that off
Hmm.
incredibly throughout this entire movie. It's definitely up there for me too, and among the movies I've seen this year because I had such a great time.
Oh, and the crowd, there were probably 15, 20 people in my uh 11:45 a.m. screening. And I thought, okay, well, you never know. Are they going to like it? Or people were laughing out loud. Every time I was laughing, I could hear other people laughing louder than me, even. So,
My crowd, I was at an early show, so like the crowd was a little bit older, and I think they weren't quite prepared for what they were seeing, so they didn't quite laugh as much. And I kind of got looked at funny for how hard I was laughing, which is fine. Yeah, I'm used to it.
yeah,
I'm used to
yeah.
it.
I just,
Yeah, great movie.
the payoffs for everything is just, it's so, especially like just go and just for alone for the Sarah Levy death scene, because it's like so Final Destination. If like Final Destination was a comedy, her death would be right up there.
All right. Let's get to the movies Jeff doesn't want to talk about.
I want to
Our
preface this
classic
by
movie.
saying, I want to preface this by saying, a couple weeks ago, Sean said, Jeff, you're going to pick the classics this year. I'm like, okay, cool. And then he picked the classics last week, and look where we
You
are.
couldn't
So,
think of anything.
no, 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 no. I said I couldn't think of anything right off the top, but I was going to do investigating. Half an hour later,
I
he messages
suggested.
me and
I
suggested. I'm like, okay.
suggested. Based off of something to go with the theme, I made a suggestion.
That's one way to put it. Yeah. So let's
Let's
talk
talk
about
about
him.
Demonic Toys, 1992 horror film, directed by Peter Manoogian and produced by Charles Band's Full Moon Features. It's part of a full subgenre of killer toy movies from the 80s and 90s. Follows a police officer, Judith Gray, played by Tracy Scoggins, who is with her partner, who also happens to be her boyfriend and the father of her supposed soon-to-be baby. They're investigating an arms deal. It goes bad. The boyfriend gets shot. She chases the baddies into this warehouse where there happens to be a demon. Structurally, this is a really terrible movie.
Really, structurally, only structurally,
just in pretty much everyone. But like the idea that why did you separate the plot between the police officer and the demons? Why not just have the demons be part of this deal already? I don't understand that. I didn't understand some of the many of the choices in this movie, but I did laugh a great deal at this movie as opposed to watching the monkey and laughing with the movie where I was supposed to laugh. I was just laughing at the absurdity of this. It's free on Tubi, so and it's only 82 minutes long, so it's not. I didn't find it to be that terrible to watch. It's so very very silly. It's very silly.
I texted you last night. Do you remember? And I said, why is this movie so long?
What did you watch? It's only 82 minutes.
It's about 38 minutes too long, though. My God, this was the worst. Like, it literally had one redeeming quality for me. Actually, okay, two. First, Baby Oopsie Daisy was fucking funny. Hi, you fat fuck. I'm Baby Oopsie Daisy, you lard ass. Will you be my special friend? That was funny. I legitimately laughed. And I guess Bentley Mitchum is not that bad. He was kind of okay in this movie. He played Mark. Mm-hmm. But I was like, oh, I guess he's not so bad because I've never heard of him before and I haven't heard of him since. So I just assumed he was one of those, like, I was in such a bad movie that they never let me work again. But oh God, this movie was just brutal. Like brutal.
Wow. Like I said, I laughed. I thought I like this very, very silly notion of these toys that are coming to life for like the dumbest reason. A bad guy's blood happens to spill into cracks where a demon was like left thousands of years ago. And somehow that brings toys to life because the demon's a child.
Okay.
Question mark.
It's like Charles Band. Charles Band was, I mean, he's known for schlock. That's his kind of thing. I do have his autograph though, because he saw it when I ordered Tourist Trap on Blu-ray. It came in one of those old giant VHS boxes, and I got one of the signed ones because he signed like 100 of them or whatever. It's like he stole the idea of the blood oozing into the floor from Hellraiser, then the demonic toys themselves from Chucky, and the demon attaching itself to the unborn child from the dream child. It's just like, what are you doing, Chuck? Come on.
He's he's using AI before AI, just feeding prompts into a machine, getting back at movie.
From an idea by Charles Band is how it says in the credits, and I was like, okay, we've got ideas from Clive Barker, we've got ideas from Stephen Hopkins, we've got it's like, come on. It's like he took like one of those bingo things, from the home bingo things where you turn it and you like put the numbers in and you draw them out, except he wrote down like scraps of stuff from other movies, put them in, and he drew 3 of them out. And demonic toys, okay, cool.
it does make me appreciate the work of Peter Manoogian. He did put this into a somewhat coherent order based off of that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
In fairness,
in fairness,
this
okay,
does
I will give you
move
that.
it does move in a fashion that is forward.
I'll give you that.
I don't know if Peter Manoogian ever did anything after this, but I would he didn't really need to after this, I would say.
No,
Uh, he pretty. I think your career pretty much peaked, buddy, with Baby Oopsie Daisy. Uh,
I'm gonna
why
see
were
what he
why were there two kids in a house with Tracy Scoggins? Why did that happen? What were the what?
because he watched.
Where did was the good kid Jesus? I don't understand.
Well, no, the good kid was the kid that she was actually pregnant with. The bad kid was the demon who was going to attach himself to the unborn child, kill it in utero, and be born as her child, and then like be a demon in the real world, I guess. I did get that from this.
Mhm.
So I didn't even have to read the Wikipedia page for it or the
Oh,
IMDb page. I actually got that from this.
very nice.
So I guess that's three things going for it that I understood part of it.
Now, the important question for you for your chicken: would you like extra crispy or chunks?
Oh my god. Yeah, I
This
was I watched this last night and I'm like, you know what? I don't have to work in the morning. I'm gonna start Chakma.
we'll get there. Well, you're going there. I just want
I
to say
know we
one more
will.
thing. One more thing though. Like this movie was very successful. It has so many sequels.
They're
There's so
still
many
making
demonic
them.
boys movies, and then they crossed it over with like Doll Man and Puppet Master as well.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because I think Charles Band also made those.
Yep. Yep. It's easy to do a crossover when you own it all.
He does suck, but he sucks in a very interesting way. I give him that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he did, like ultimately we have Tourist Trap to watch now based on him. So
He's like a less talented Roger Corman.
yes, yes. If Roger Corman had a quarter of the ambition, you get Charles Band. Not to say if I saw him at a convention or something, I wouldn't like fawn all over him because I just think he has a lot of balls for doing this shit. But still,
Would you say you prefer Puppet Master to Demonic Toys?
I have aggressively avoided Puppet Master. Aggressively.
Puppet Master
avoided
had
that.
Puppet Master has the puppet with the drill on his head, so I kind of prefer
Yeah.
that one. That one's kind of cool.
So
I kind of wanted more from Baby Oopsie Daisy. She just really, I mean, she had all the riz, but she didn't have any of like she didn't really seem like she had the ability to actually hurt anybody, which I really thought they needed to give her more of an act of violence of some sort that would be, that would work well against the fact that she's also a baby.
her hurting people was on an emotional level, Sean, which can cut deeper than a knife.
Oh man. I don't know. If you enjoy bad movies for being bad, I do recommend this movie in that way.
Okay.
Not as a horror.
I recommend you put it on mute until you see Baby Oopsie Daisy, and then you turn it up, and then you put it back on mute. You fat fuck.
All right, let's go back a couple of years before Demonic Toys to 1990, because we're talking about the monkey. How about a baboon movie, a killer baboon movie at that, called Shakma, and it's directed by Hugh Parks and Tom Logan, and starring the ever wooden Christopher Atkins. How this man managed to act for as long as he did, I have no idea. Amanda
He's
Weiss,
hot.
the Roddy McDowell. Um, Students at a medical clinic are testing things on a baboon. Christopher Atkins thinks he can train a baboon to, or teach a baboon to not be violent. But Roddy McDowell disagrees and says they gotta torture its brain out to make it docile. That doesn't work at all. That's a complete failure. Shockman turns out to not like having half of its brain cut out because it goes completely insane and starts murdering them while they're playing an RPG late at night in their school, led by their professor, which is something that people do, I'm sure.
Well, they did it in 1990 once, and then they saw what happened, so they stopped doing it.
What kid, the age of Christopher Atkins and Amanda Weiss wouldn't want to spend their nights hanging out with Roddy McDowell? Honestly, as he leads them through an RPG. Weird premise, but it does get everybody into the same space so they can have this, fuck around and find out man versus nature story about a angry baboon with actual baboon in the movie. By the way, there is an actual baboon in this movie who had to be repeatedly tortured to be angry in several scenes.
Yeah.
So, if you don't mind, violating a poor defenseless animal in that way, this movie's pretty funny.
I mean, for a couple things.
Mm-hmm.
How do you put two directors on a porno set and make a movie about a killer monkey? Because this was clearly where they shot like doctor and school porn in the
naughty nurses.
Late 80s. Yes. Oh God, the sets looked like they took an abandoned office building and said, what would really class this place up? Beige everywhere. Everything is beige. We'll even put everybody in beige and white.
A couple of times I actually thought this movie might have been the abandoned hospital where they shot Scrubs.
Maybe.
It's possible. It's Los Angeles. It seemed like it's a lot of the interiors were very similar, and it's a very cheap location to get from what Bill Lawrence said about that place.
And I also would like to. Huh?
You didn't like the baboon?
Well, I mean, the baboon was fun, but I just what got me was like, all right, I can see Amanda Weiss and Christopher Atkins being a couple, but towards the end of it, after she gets it, which was the longest scene that you never see anything besides the top of a bathroom stall, just a lot of screaming and shrieking from the monkey and Amanda Weiss. Just the fact that almost the entire death scene is just the top of a bathroom stall. I just couldn't even deal. I was like, is this ever? I really want this scene to end because I'm just sick of looking at the top of a bathroom stall.
But
that was the worst part of it.
I didn't expect Amanda Weiss to die.
No, I didn't.
It's not necessarily because this was so skillfully crafted, but it was kind of like they just didn't know what else to do next, and they had too much movie left, so I guess we'll kill her now.
Yeah, we'll kill her, and then we'll hook up with the 21-year-old who looks like a 14-year-old, Ari Myers. She didn't look 21 until she was almost 40.
Yeah, she was very young. I thought she was Christopher Atkins' sister in the movie.
Oh, towards the end, it looked like they were going to hook up. I'm going to be honest. Towards the end, though, I was in and out on this movie because it was just like it gave me that TV movie with added gore feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I may have missed a couple things. I definitely towards the end was like, I'm gonna go make dinner.
The few moments of the fake baboon though were just, beautiful because it was just so bad. It was just they're like throwing a stuffed baboon at people, which I just adored.
And did I did come in and turn on my computer towards the end of the movie. Did the baboon get out of the crematorium?
I don't remember, honestly. It's been a while now.
I don't think so, but there are pictures on IMDb of the effects guy
Mm-hmm.
with a with a burned baboon. So I think that was at least a
Oh,
deleted
yeah.
scene.
Mm.
He's holding it, and it's like the burned
Yeah, yeah.
baboon with
Yeah, he
blood all
didn't make
over it.
it. Now that you're mentioning it, he didn't. I don't think Shaqma made it.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate too, because they really needed a sequel for Shaq.
Oh God. Shakma Kruger. They tried to burn me, but the dream
At the
demons
very
came
least, like
inside.
usually when they do man versus nature stories, like you're in a like in a badly lit forest set or something like
Mhm.
that. This is at least a different place to do a man versus nature story.
On a porno set. Yeah.
Incredibly well lit for a horror movie.
Yeah. 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 They used all the lights they could find in this Los Angeles County, apparently, because everything was super bright. I mean,
Uh,
there was a couple scenes
I honestly
outside,
don't.
but
I honestly don't know if that was just the inexperience of the directors or incompetence or just like we're not actually allowed to shut these lights off.
I'm going to go for all of the above. This is like, I have never seen the whole thing all the way through, but this is kind of like Roddy McDowell's Trog. Joan Crawford's last movie was a movie called Trog, where she was a scientist who found a Neanderthal kind of creature named Trog. And this was giving me Trog vibes whenever I would see Roddy McDowell in it. He's just a
So
couple years away from doing like Fright Night, which was a great movie.
he was
And he,
wandering the woods for a while there because you just needed some paychecks.
yeah, maybe I should do Shock My. I need a paycheck too.
I bet we could make Shakma in your apartment. Just we get a really convincing like stuffed baboon. I think we could get the job done.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's make Shakma 2.
In a 2-room apartment.
Yep. 2-bedroom apartment. It's a
Two-bedroom.
5 rooms, 2
Oh, excuse
bedrooms.
me.
Although with all my Star Wars stuff in the bedroom I'm currently in that I turned into an office it's like having a 1-bedroom apartment.
Mm. So yeah, be on the lookout for Shakma 2. We might as well make that this week because there are no movies coming out.
Yeah, that's true. True.
Woody Harrelson has a movie coming out about people who swim or something.
Yeah, I
Diving.
yeah,
They
no.
dive. They save dive people. I don't know. I didn't bother to look it up. And there's another movie called Cold Wallet, which my review of that is already up, but we'll talk about it next week. Which is about a crypto scam and a suspense plot. And Adult Best Friends, which is actually a really interesting movie about growing up and growing apart as childhood friends, which I definitely do. I definitely am looking forward to having that conversation because I saw that movie today.
Oh.
Anything else you want to talk about, Jeff?
Just don't ever make me watch another Charles Band movie.
You have to pick a classic for next week. How are you going to do that with this fucking lineup?
Um,
You want to go with Puppet Master?
no. It is Oscar week, so I'm thinking we're gonna watch an Oscar movie that I haven't seen.
All right.
So I wanna look at a couple that I want to make sure they won because I clearly don't remember what the Oscars are after the week after we talk about them. So
Sure. All right. So we'll let you know. Watch Blue Sky
yeah,
for that. I know.
yep, we will put it on Blue Sky within the next day or two.
All right, Jeff. Thanks.
Have a good one.